What's up, heathens? How ya doing? Today we have more comments to go through, but first we gotta crown the winner from last week. And last week's winner was this asshole right here. Yes. This guy that doesn't think dinosaurs, are real. As far as what we know to be dinosaurs, he thinks they're actually dragons. And he left this whole comment here to try to persuade me that it was actually dragons that existed and walked with humans, and we just changed it into dinosaurs later. It's weird and confusing. But anyways, you, sir, have won the dumbass from last week. Congratulations. If you pick this dumbass from last week, then you win 1,000,000 God points. Remember, these God points are worth about as much as any foreign relations decision that Trump makes. Honestly, they're just all shit. Well, hold up. Before we start talking about dipshits, we do have to let you guys know about the results from last Friday's stream. If you didn't know, last Friday we did a live stream where we were donating all of the proceeds, all of the super chats and all the money that we made off of that stream, we are donating to Camp Quest, Texas. And I'm happy to report that we were able to donate about $500. Actually, exactly $500. See? Receipts, bitch! So I want to thank everybody for participating. If you directly donated to Camp Quest, Texas, really appreciate you guys. If you still want to donate directly to the organization, I will have links down in the description. They will be very gracious to get your donation. Camp Quest is an awesome summer camp for kids that focus on science and just general education, as well as secular and more atheist activism kind of things. So if you want to support Camp Quest, then please go down below, hit that link, and donate to them. Alright, now on to the dipshits for this week. First off, somebody doesn't know who I am. I'm just some asshole on the internet, man. Somebody asks if they're supposed to take me seriously. In most videos, yeah, but I throw in a lot of jokes. Ooh, somebody throws a threat my way. Apparently I'm the worst debater ever. Ooh, somebody tries to challenge me on my historicity game. Apparently my name, Godless Engineer, explains everything somebody needs to know about me. And apparently I sound just like a flat earther to some Christians. So, if you heathens want to know more about these dumbasses, then please stay tuned. But hey, before the dumbasses, you know what we gotta do. Today I learned. First up on Today I Learned that dessert stomach is a real thing. Your gut expands upon contact with sugar and therefore makes room for dessert even after having the feeling of being full. I recently experienced this with the wedding last weekend. And, we had a huge cake and it was awesome. We got the cake from a bakery that piles on the icing really fucking thick. So I had a decent sized slice of that. So this is actually a real thing. Anybody gives you shit about it, just be like, it's biology, motherfucker. Next on Today I Learned that 1 billion people may be newly exposed to diseases like dengue fever as world temperatures rise by the end of the century because of global warming, says a new study that examines temperature changes on a monthly basis across the world. Yes, global climate change is a big problem, and we're going to be seeing a lot more effects of it. So we need to start heading off our carbon emissions and everything like that, and we've made some pretty decent strides in that way, but it doesn't help when we have a president that's too much of a dipshit to actually accept the science on it. Instead, he claims it's a Chinese hoax, which he walked back on. I get that, but still, you have people out there that claim it's a hoax or it's all kind of like a big smokescreen, and they miscategorize weather for climate and all this other shit. And it's It's so fucking frustrating. And we're going to be seeing a lot more like dangerous storms, diseases like this being rampant, droughts being more rampant and shit. The wildfires are most likely because of global climate change. So we have to get a handle on this. And I know that a good number of people don't take this seriously, but we need to start doing things right now to circumvent global warming. And finally on Today I learned that NASA calculated that you only need 40 digits of pi to calculate the circumference of the observable universe to the accuracy of one hydrogen atom. Now I know a lot of flat earthers are going to get their panties in a wad about this and like, how can you know that? Oh, that's just math. It's not real science. That's not observable. And I have to disagree. I mean, the math has to work out in reality in order for, you know, the science to, or like the things to be observable. So like you can observe a car going 20 miles per hour. Just because we can calculate how fast a car is going doesn't mean that the car is not going 20 miles an hour. It's still going that speed. Anyways, that's it for Today I Learned. And now for your out of context tweet. Ginger Taylor says, with the little sign saying, vaccines cause autism. No, they don't. Dipshit. Oh, now we've got shitty ass science. We're gonna answer some science shit really wrong. Alright. What region is this tree located and how many Easter eggs does it make on average per year? Holy fucking shit. Okay, so this particular tree, it was only cultivated when Jesus Christ was actually crucified. You see, all the trees around his crucifixion was like, oh shit, they're killing this Jew, and then they started sprouting eggs. Okay, so when Jesus died, these trees, they started producing eggs. Now, these eggs weren't real eggs. They were just seeds of this tree, just like this motherfucker. It produces 500 egg trees per season, and they bloom whenever Jesus was supposedly crucified. Now, of course, I don't believe Jesus was crucified. I think that he was probably, crucified in the way where they stick the pole up the ass, and they skewer him, basically. They shove it up his ass, and they're like, ha, motherfucker, take anal now. And so these trees, they only existed in Jerusalem, but they have spread out all over the world now. And here's you a nice little picture of one of these egg trees. That's why we associate eggs with Jesus and his death, because they sprouted them when they died. He died. Whatever. You know what I mean? God has a multiple personality disorder, so I mean, he's like 3 fucks in one, right?
Right.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
Oh, shit. Honey?
What?
It's time for comments of the day. Prepare to facepalm yourself in the next week. All right, what's our first comment today? Am I supposed to take you seriously? Oh. Well, in that particular video, yes, because it was a live stream of us debunking this whole convex Earth documentary thing, which I actually haven't recut up and put up in separate things because it was just a really, really bad movie. Like, I think that the Logan Paul movie was better than the convex Earth documentary thing. Like, that movie had no scientific substance to it. Not that Logan Paul's did. His had entertainment value. This didn't even have that. You will be the whiny little bitch all the other men make fun of, then murdered when you meet me.
Damn.
Jesus fucking Christ. It sounds like my son talking when he's like acting, like when he's doing cause he watches some of the creepypasta horror stuff, and it sounds like my son when he's like, and then he walked into the forest and he was murdered. Ajax, you seem to have a military, a Marine type of profile picture there. I don't know if you are a Marine, but I mean, in any case, you probably shouldn't be making these types of comments anywhere on social media, because that shit gets serious quick and it can land you in a whole bunch of fucking trouble there, bud. So I don't know if you'd say, I'm not afraid of you, obviously. I'm putting you right here, displaying your name and everything like that. I don't give a fuck, because you're not going to do shit. You're just a loudmouth talker on the internet. Always love it when these types of assholes comment, because they're all talk and no action. Watching this was so infuriating and frustrating, and I want to pull my hair out. I know, man. That guy, Matt Powell, such a fucking dipshit. I can't believe Matt Powell should win the dumbass of this week. Just every week, Matt Powell's a dumbass. Say it with me. Matt Powell is a dumbass. You are the worst bloody debater I've ever heard. Oh shit, I'm apparently the frustrating one. You know, this was a small section of like about an hour's long worth of an interview. And so I get that maybe you think I did bad, but trust me, him thinking that Confederates shot pterodactyls was way worse. Please get off the fucking internet making these idiot fucking Christians look good because you can't fucking make a cogent argument. Okay, maybe he's talking about my rambling bit about the Incan or South American or Central American like tablets and stones and cave paintings and everything like that looked like dinosaurs. And yeah, there have been some that have been brought up by Christians and other conspiracy theorists and everything like that. But at the same time, I don't think I did too bad in that part, considering the fact that in his movie, Matt Powell really took me out of context and presented a whole bunch of information that he did not provide me with there. He made it seem like I was talking about these obviously faked bits of pottery that showed like Triceratops and Brachiosauruses or Brontosauruses, whichever fucking ones. I mean, he just completely took me out of context on those. Come try to debunk my vids, brethren. I am the only soul in earth that has up-close footage of the firmament for you to witness. So keep avoiding me and the truth, and keep effing with yahoos who know little. Come have a chat with me, bro. Ha! One of God's kids. Persian, I am the one on YouTube that you can't debunk and you won't reply to. Maybe you don't want to look a fool. As you were trying to debate me, there is no debate with me. I come with proof of God. Oh, so you have proof of God, but you also have proof of a firmament. Both of those things are not real and honestly I don't think can be proven. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I haven't even seen your thing. Like, to come on here and to be like, you won't debate me because you're too scared. It's like a random guy jumping out from behind a corner being like, ha ha, you're too scared to fight me, aren't you? It's like, I've never seen you before. I don't know who you are, but you look scrawny as fuck, and I'm sure that I could Rochambeau the fuck out of you. This is from Cutthroat Juggalo. He's a friend of the channel. He's actually a member, if memory serves. So, you fat, hick-voiced Alabamian. Thank you, Cutthroat, for that. I feel the love, bro. You a big gulp in French fry eating bar? Just happy to hit pills and eat the crap you're given? America good enough for me. Got my McDonald's and Taco Bell. I don't really eat McDonald's all that much. Taco Bell, not really. I prefer like a Moe's, kind of burrito than a Taco Bell one, but I also don't eat French fries all that much, so there's that. This is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Take it out, guys. The more you swear, the more credible you are. Motherfucking right, fucker. You're basically saying the New Testament is false because it copies parts of the Old Testament. Don't you get the concept of prophecy? Ha! I do get the concept of prophecy, but the thing that you're not understanding is the fact that prophecy is the least likely situation. Like, it's more probable that people read these prophecies and then just made shit up than prophecies actually coming true. That's the part that you're neglecting to mention here. And yeah, I'm not saying that the New Testament is false because it copies part of the Old Testament. I'm saying that the New Testament is constructed using the Old Testament and it is indeed not recording history. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's false as you call it. I'm just saying that the New Testament doesn't record history. But if you want to say that the New Testament records exactly what happened in the first century, then I'm going to have to say that what you're saying is false. Also, the 4 Gospels aren't copies. They're the same story told from 4 perspectives, idiot. That hurt my neck. So, yes, of course they're gonna use different words. Doesn't mean it's a fallacy. Wow! Actually, no. The Gospels don't use different words. They actually use the exact same words. In the Greek, there are several sections that are just completely ripped out of like Mark, and then Luke ripped out of Matthew. But you also have to take into account the time period in which these Gospels were written. First there was Mark, and then there was Matthew, which copied off of Mark, and then Luke copied off of Matthew and Mark, and then John is a completely separate community that was kind of licking the wall at the time. They used a good portion of the Christian thought that was surrounding like Jesus at the time, but they had their own agenda to push, so that's why it's completely different. You're basically emphasizing the extent the Old Testament prophesies the future. You really got the Christians here. Well, actually, I'm hoping to point out how the Old Testament informed the New Testament and therefore is not actually recording history. You can ask several different scholars out there that will definitely agree that the New Testament records theology, not history. It's a theological book. Godless engineer, please research and make calculation before you say something. Gravitational pull between the sun and moon is actually much stronger than between Earth and Moon. Don't be like those flat Earth retards. I agree that the sun has a greater pull on the moon than the Earth does. Because of how massive the sun is and the distance away from the moon, the sun still has a pretty big pull on it. But if you actually listen to what I said in that particular video that this is coming from, I didn't say that the gravitational pull on the moon was stronger coming from the Earth than the sun. I said that the effect on the moon was greater around the Earth, or from the Earth. The effect is, and that's pretty obvious because the moon still, it cannot escape Earth's gravity. For it to escape Earth's gravity, the moon would have to move about half a kilometer more, or I think it's gotta move like a half a kilometer more per hour or per second or whatever in the orbit. It's gotta move faster in order for it to actually escape Earth's orbit. That's what's preventing it from actually just sort of wandering out there and orbiting the sun, is that the Earth's gravity has a greater effect due to its proximity. Effect, not the pull of the Earth is greater, but the effect is greater. Godless, say no more. Your name explains everything. Okay, yeah, I'm godless. I don't believe in a god, and I'm an engineer. I'm glad that you didn't question, like, my engineering status. Like, normally that's where people go. It's like, you can't be an engineer and godless at the same time. That's just an oxy-fucking-moron. No, that's not an oxymoron, but you're a moron. Or you could be a Mormon. I mean, it's pretty much, same thing. Brainless engineer! Thank you for your intelligent comment. I appreciate it. Hold on, what's our line? Thank you for your interest in Godless Engineer. Please comment again. Or don't, I don't care. GE, I love what you're doing here, but I can't seem to watch any video of yours without hearing a pedophilia joke. It's not funny at all, and you're making light of something awful and traumatic. Priests are always diddling kids? Then it seems like there would be a lot of survivors out there watching your videos, hearing you joking about something awful. I get the concern here, but at the same time, I make these jokes. Like in that particular video right there, I talk about how Mike describes his experience in Antarctica like so traumatizing you could basically call Antarctica Michael Jackson. I make jokes like that because it's a slight against the person that is doing the abuse. It is a slight against the priest to talk about it, because if you think about it, they don't want it talked about. They don't want people talking about the fact that they abuse kids. Me making those jokes is not a joke on the kids being abused. It's a joke to be directed at the person committing the abuse, to shame them, because it's shameful to do those things, and they should feel that shame. I appreciate your comment though, and your concern, and I hope that you can continue watching my videos that don't contain those types of jokes, but I'm not going to stop doing it. So this is actually a tweet from this past weekend where this asshole decided to come on to our photo we posted celebrating our marriage, and he says this: "The most useless engineer I have ever heard speak. He is a sad case of dim-dim." I mean, honestly, the only thing I have to say is daytime, nighttime, sexy, sexy, sexy. That the dim-dim comes from Antonio Subarats, and that's who I'm guessing he watches, and because he's calling me a dim-dim. Honestly, the whole dim-dim thing, like, coming from Subarats seems rather childish, and is just, like, I don't know. It feels weird for people to be like, "You're such a dim-dim." It's like, oh, okay. I don't feel like I should really verbally assault a mentally challenged person. Like, that's just not me. "You just sound like an FA. Christians are for you what NASA is for them." So no, I don't consider, like, Christians, like Christians aren't like NASA for me as far as, like, FE goes. Like, I agree that there are some good Christians out there, and that there are some Christians that don't necessarily cause harm in general. Those would be the Christians that, like, keep their faith to themselves or anything like that. I still think that the religion is very abusive towards them, just because that's how religion is. And that's also why I'm an anti-theist, because I feel like religion is inherently abusive. Even if you're not spreading it to other people, you're abusing yourself with religion, I feel. But in any case, it's totally different, because the FE, like the flat earthers, they need like they need an opposition, and NASA is that opposition. That's why they try to make it out to be like NASA has this influence that reaches back to before it was even formed. You are misleading people, but boy, your day will come. My day will come? I mean, we just had our marriage, so, I mean, our day's already come. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about the rapture! Honey, he's not talking about our marriage, he's talking about our rapture. He's just a dipshit. Bless his heart. And finally, we have this idiot. "You are making a fool of yourself. You really are going to get played for making this video. We are going to us it against you, you fool. The earth is flat. Are you aware that there is no experiment that can be done to prove the earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour? What experiment did NASA use to prove the earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour? You are making a fool of yourself." Well, I mean, NASA doesn't have to perform an experiment to prove that it's moving at 1,000 miles per hour. Eratosthenes, back in like the 3rd or 4th century BCE, proved the circumference of the Earth, like measured it, I guess. Not proved it, but measured the circumference of the Earth. Because by that point in history, we already knew the Earth was a globe, but we didn't have a good way to measure it. So Eratosthenes measured it. And using that measurement and simple geometry, along with some physics, you can figure out that at the equator, the Earth is moving at about 1,000 miles per hour from a reference frame that is outside of the Earth. Now, if you're speaking from a reference frame directly on the Earth, it's moving at about 0.007 revolutions per minute. Now, that is because of how fast the Earth turns in a 24-hour period. So that is the important number. That's what we feel, and that is a number that is representative of the reference frame of being on the surface of the Earth. Thank you for your comment. I hope you win dumbass this week. Thank you, heathens, for joining us this week on the show. I really appreciate it. Please keep leaving those comments. Keep sharing out these videos to dumbasses on the internet so they can make comments. And I guess we'll see you, heathens, in the next video. Oh, hey, don't forget to go down below and vote for the dumbass of this week. You could win 1,000,000 God points that are worth nothing. While you're down there, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of dumbass content. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice, and I will see you, heathens, later. See, it's not my fat fault. His name was Ajax. Dipshit. That's what his name should be, dipshit. Fucking dumbass.